Before you walked
Yeah.
into that test center, had you ever even heard of Dianetics and Scientology before?
No, nothing, not at all. I didn't never watch South Park. I never I never saw the documentaries. I had no
You didn't
idea.
even know, oh, it's that thing Tom Cruise is in.
I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you find appealing? So you sort of explained you were looking for, something spiritual. Um, what do you remember thinking when you're doing these intro Scientology courses? What did you find appealing about it at that time?
Man, this is where it gets a little bit it gets really deep, because I was just perfect for them to recruit. The way the things that I already had in my head just like fit like a glove with what they had for me. So I, like I said, was very spiritual, very much like wanting to find answers of life and the afterlife and stuff like that. And one thing that was really interesting to me was like people telling stories of past lives and remembering past lives, or like a little kid who said, "Oh, that was my best friend," and he's talking about like a World War II veteran. This, like those stories,
I've seen that
which
video. I know what you're talking about.
yeah. So I always thought those things were fascinating. And I always kind of like wonder, like, how can I figure out how to remember my past lives? It must be like something spiritual, something that I need to find so that I can remember my past lives. Because that would be awesome if I could remember my past lives. And so I went in there, and I also had kind of, man, it's a lot. I was taking notes about different things that I could collect from different ideologies and religions and spiritual beliefs around the world, and sort of like culminating my own belief personal. It was very personal to me. I understood that like this is what I personally believe. And what I personally believed at the time when I walked in there was I believed in past lives, and I believed that I wanted to figure out how to remember my past lives. I also, when it came to these notes that I had jotted down and like created for myself, I created a symbol for it, right? Like a symbol that just came to me, and the symbol is a triangle, just a simple triangle, equilateral triangle. And I remember being like, there is something about this triangle that I need to figure out. I know this sounds crazy, but that's what was going on in my head. And when I walked into the test center, I saw a poster for one of the movies that they have. They have a movie about one of the books. The book is called The Fundamentals of Thought. Is it The Fundamentals of Thought or the Fundament? Yeah, The Fundamentals of Thought. And that one of the fundamentals of thought in that book and in that movie is the ARC triangle. And in the movie poster, the ARC triangle is this like electric blue triangle. When I was a little kid, I mean like 14, I had to have been 14. I Because this is like when I'm telling you that I put a symbol to these beliefs, I was 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. So when I created this symbol for what I'm going to collect in my personal spiritual beliefs, the symbol was a triangle, and I didn't know what it meant, but I thought that eventually I'll figure out what it means. Because of that, when I was 14, 15, 16, eventually I turned 18, and I tattooed the triangle on my arm, and I said, this is like a reminder. I have to find this triangle and figure out what it means. And that is just, I was just prepped and ready, perfectly packaged for them. I saw the triangle on the poster, and I said, what does that triangle mean right there? What does that mean? And the lady brought me to it. Real quick, let me just pause and go back to when I was 14. When I was 14, I was a bad kid. Me and my friends would sneak out. We'd go and do things that we shouldn't do, like graffiti and stuff. And one of the things that I did when I was 14 years old, I did a triangle, and I put 3 words on each corner of the triangle. And the 3 words were communication, perception, and understanding. And that's what I thought the triangle meant. but I was like, it's not like 100% there, but it's almost there. And so when I find the ARC triangle, and I'm in the test center, and I'm like, what does that triangle mean? And she tells me, this is the ARC triangle. It's reality, communication, affinity, and all together it creates understanding. In my head, my mind was blown. I was like, I found it. This is what I've been looking for. In hindsight, I realized that a triangle is a very simple shape, and this could be very much so just a coincidence. But but it was like I had this tinder and they had fuel, and it just, a flame happened, because right as soon as she told me what this triangle meant, and me with my personal beliefs of wanting to remember past lives, the first thing that I asked her was, do you guys believe in past lives? And she said, yes, we do. And I said, okay. And I told her, I showed her the triangle. I was like, I've been looking for this triangle. I think that in my past life, I knew what it meant, and now I'm trying to find it again. Like I said, perfectly packaged for them. It was a gift to them. And this was, it just, everything lined up. So, so I said, yeah, I think this is what I've been looking for. And I think it has to do with, I must have known it in my past life. And my goal is to figure out how I'm going to remember my past lives. But that's all I said. I just said, okay, I think I've seen this before. And she said, she showed me the bridge. No, hold on. We were still standing right there in front of the poster. And yeah, I said, I think I've seen this before, and I think I've known about this before, and I've been looking for it, because I had been looking for it. I really had been looking for a triangle. I tatted it on my arm to go look for it. So she just said, welcome back, stuck her hand out and shook my hand. And that is like a lock just hinging into place. I was locked in from that day, from that moment. It was an exhilarating thing to shake her hand, and she says, welcome back. It was insane. It was just, it was a lot.
I can just imagine what was going through her head at the time. It was something like, we got him.
It was
Wow.
a lot more than that, because I was 20, coming up on 21. LOA for Sea Org members is you're supposed to come back when you're 21. So it was like it was like prophetic. It was like a prophecy that I came back at 20 years old and 20 years and 10 months old.
Oh my God.
That's when I found it again, and I came in with the story of the triangle. And yeah, honestly, that triangle was very much so like something that I was looking for.
Wow. And that was all that went down right there at the test center on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You don't remember that girl's name?
She has a really sweet name. She's Venezuelan, and her name is like a sweet name. I think like Lindsay is like a sweet name, like a cute, sweet name. Something like Lindsay, something like that, but a Spanish sort of. I don't remember really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow. So did they I have to imagine, I have to wonder, did that person then start leaking the idea of he thinks he's reincarnated and all this stuff, so that other Sea Org members would treat you that way?
Yep. Immediately, everybody started treating me like I was a returning Sea Org member.
Oh my God.
Everybody. Sea Org members would call me sir as a public.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, that doesn't happen.
Wow. Okay. So you spent 4 or 5 weeks, if I recall, or 3 or 4 weeks, doing intro courses at the test center. You wound up over in LA Org, still in the introductory course room?
Yeah, so I was in the introductory course room because basically, when I went to LA Org, yeah, I was just doing ups and downs in life, those just the introductory courses. But maybe I did like 2 or 3 of them, and then I went to ASHO and I did the Hubbard's apprentice Scientologist course in ASHO.
Hubbard qualified Scientologist course?
Yeah, yeah, that one.
The HQS or there is an there was
No,
something called an HAS course.
yeah, it had the word apprentice in it because it was like one of the first big courses. But it like they taught me H8 like how to 8C, and I was like moving a grown man around in a room and stuff.
It sounds like HQS.
It might have been.
Okay.
Could they have changed the name? I don't think. Probably not. Right?
Anything's possible. There was an old HAS course back that L. Ron Hubbard used to run, and they might have brought back a version of that kind of rings a bell. But that should be a course that you could still do at LA Org. Was there some reason they sent you to ASHO? It doesn't matter.
I think ASHO's course rooms had more people to partner up with.
There you go. Yes. And ASHO, you can't, all the courses that you do in LA Org, you can also do at ASHO. So that makes sense. They're like, we don't have anyone to do these damn drills with him.
Exactly. I think actually they had somebody there who needed someone to do drills with. And they were like, Leo, if we sign you up over here, then you can partner up with that person who needs a partner. That's what happened.
Right. Wow.
So, and that's how I also got like a little bit of grade 2 auditing because she was practicing grade 2 auditing.
There you go. That must have been kind of a nice experience for you, I'm guessing, jumping into a big org with big course rooms and more students and more staff. What was that like for you?
Yeah, definitely. It felt like I was always like against school and the school system. So it felt like this is how school should be, you know, like everyone at their own pace, no grades, no, qualifying numbers and letters. It was exciting to me because it was like education. There's spiritual education here. People are learning spiritual things. And they're partnering up and they're having drills and they're talking to each other back and forth, or they're doing these weird practices down the hall where somebody has their hand on their shoulder and walking people down the hall. And some people are acting here. Some people are acting like they don't want to go somewhere, or they, you know what I mean? Like they're like, and I'm like, oh, there's like acting going on. Okay. This is interesting. It was exciting.
The energy in a practical course room is pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's like loud.
I can see, especially if it's a new person getting introduced to this, like it's kind of addicting. It's a packed, busy, loud, practical course room is a pretty fun place to be, Scientologically speaking, at least.
Yeah, there's a lot of laughing, and because you get to partner up with people, so you're talking to someone, you can kind of joke around a little bit in between what you're doing and your drills and whatever. Or when it comes to like bull baiting is supposed to be like as crazy or as exciting as you could make it.
Yeah. Did you find that experience to be even more appealing than everything that you had already experienced? Like, was it just like, did it just reinforce that you had made the right decision?
Yeah. Every step of the way, kept like affirming things in a weird way. Like I was like, oh, I wondered about this, and then they would have a course for it or something, or they just have an answer for it like on paper.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right here.